So, a lot of people assume that I've always worked on a retained basis and that that's just always how it's been for me. And it just isn't. It just isn't. I worked for so many years on a contingent basis, on a no win, no fee basis. I guess mainly because I didn't know that there was another option. I That's how I was trained, that's how everyone else was doing it, that's what the clients expected. There wasn't a question of it being any different from that. And it wasn't until somebody showed me that it could be different that I realized that it doesn't have to be like that. At that time, I was so glad to find that out and to discover it, and it just came at the right time for me. I'd got to the stage where I started to get really quite good at what I was doing, and I got good in my specialist area, and I wanted to do a proper job for my clients. But I found it so frustrating that I'd put time and energy and effort into so many assignments, and just all sorts of things can change. And on a contingent basis, as I was working, it might be I'd have a brilliant shortlist. I'd have found the three best candidates for the position after weeks and weeks of hard work, and the client would say, actually, do you know what, we just need to put a pin in this for a bit because I think something's changing internally. And I just end up with nothing from it, or through no fault of their own. I mean, sometimes it was more calculated than that, and actually, thanks very much for your hard work, but we've decided to promote somebody internally, and all they ever really wanted was to benchmark, and I just didn't know that, and I've really felt quite used. So, and varying degrees between that. But at the time, I had started a family, and I had a lot of other things to do, and I started to get really frustrated that I was spending time on stuff where the client wasn't anywhere near as committed as I was. And and so it came at a perfect time when Matt Howell, one of my heroes, taught me how to secure and how to deliver my work on a retained basis. And I'd always thought that it was for executive or senior positions, and that it was something I was never going to be able to do. And I was just so wrong. Um, it was actually, looking back, it was exactly the opposite of that. It works beautifully across so many, if not all, levels that we as recruiters are drafted in to support clients with. And it's just a joy to work in real partnership and have that commitment to be able to do a proper piece of work. And it changed everything for me. I very much doubt that I would have stayed in the industry, in fact, if I hadn't changed the way that I worked, and that hadn't showed me how to do that. And I guess what I'm saying is I've been where you might be, and I've walked the path of making that transition, and it's been one of the best things I've ever done. And if for anybody thinking that they might want to do it and they might want to learn how to transition in part, or want to know how to do it, then my message to you really is that you can. You can. Don't be intimidated by big search firms or sophisticated language, or a smoke and mirrors of a executive search terminology. It can be learned. It's a process that can be learned, and I've only seen good things come of it. The change for me in the amount of time it gave me back, and the time it enabled me to spend with my family, and the time I had for myself, just made life enjoyable, and became a career that I was really excited about. And you start venturing into all sorts of other areas with it, like the strategic side of solving clients' challenges, like talent mapping and pipelining and succession planning, that whole world of real true consultancy starts to open up. But don't be daunted by that or intimidated by that, just one step at a time. So I've been in the shoes that you're in and walked the path that you might be thinking of walking. So don't feel alone in it at any stage. Come and talk to me if you'd like to.